Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to our Browns pregame coverage as Cleveland and Denver get ready for a big matchup out in the Rocky Mountains here this afternoon. Brendan Gulick and Anthony Meglin with you, both of us covering remotely today, not on site for the Browns and Broncos, but we've got our normal pregame, in-game, and post-game plans for you here on our channel. And for all the latest news and info on the team, for sure, you can check out BrownsDigest.com. We're part of the Sports Illustrated Media Group on the Fan Nation Network. Anthony, I think my overarching thought coming into this game is that there are always a couple of games on the schedule at the beginning of the year that you look at and think like, should probably win that one. Mm-hmm. And I think this is one of them. And a lot of times you see games that you should win that you don't. And granted, at the beginning of the year, you make that assumption with Deshaun Watson at quarterback and with Nick Chubb at running back and a full strength unit. So that certainly is, impacting a little bit of the way I feel about it. I think this is going to be a really good game, and I think the Browns go in confident, but I think they're 2-point underdogs for a reason.
I'll tell you what, this game's exciting for a couple reasons, and one of them is that these are arguably two of the hottest teams in all of the NFL. The Denver Broncos come in on a 4-game win streak, and their wins are so weird, man. It's like we're going to watch this today, and it's going to remind us Browns fans of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're not great on offense. They're not great on offense. They're not great on defense. They're actually pretty poor on defense. But they turned the ball. They forced teams into turnovers. They turned the Chiefs over 5 times a couple weeks ago. Turned the Bills over 4 3 weeks ago, and that's how they win football games. And it's going to be it's a great opportunity for the Browns to get a win, and to do so, if you just don't turn the football over and you play a clean game, you're going to be in position to do that.
Do they have any wide receivers that give as minimal effort as Deontay Johnson does?
No, I don't think so. I think that advantage Broncos in that category.
Yeah, that was a pretty tough scene earlier today in the first half down in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Look, Denver creates a lot of turnovers. You've touched on that, and that's probably the biggest reason why they have started to flip some of these close results. I have found it interesting that in the beginning of the year, 1-point loss at Arizona, 1-point loss at San Francisco, 1-point loss at Vegas, 2-point loss against Washington. Everybody remembers them giving up 70 at Miami, but they were really competitive in losing efforts prior to that. And since then, they beat the Bears by 3. They had one, bad game against the Jets and didn't play great against a good Kansas City team. And it looked like things were falling apart for them. They beat Green Bay by 2. They played well against Kansas City the second time around. They beat Buffalo by 2, and last week they beat Minnesota by 1. So they've started to take some of those close losses and turn them into more narrow margin victories. And I think when you've got a team that, by the way, is at full strength, playing at home where they have one of the better home field advantages in the NFL simply just because of the altitude. Every team that goes and plays there better be absolutely on it. And is Cleveland capable of winning this game? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I love what I've seen from the Browns defense here of late. And, I know Denzel Ward is unlikely to play today. I'm not too worried about Russell Wilson, throwing for 350 this afternoon. But the Browns better be on it.
Yeah, they need to come to play, and I think that what you've seen is that the defense, no matter who's on the other side of the field, that defense comes ready to roll, and I think today is going to be no different. I think they have a really great opportunity to really shut down this Broncos offense. The Broncos don't necessarily run the football very well, and Russell Wilson, while he's having his best year as a Bronco, he's just playing very efficient football. He's not going to blow the doors off for 300 yards. He's going to average somewhere around he averages right around 200 yards. He has thrown a ton of touchdowns, and he doesn't turn the ball over. But you can really contain that. You contain that attack from him. So I'm excited about what the defense is going to be able to do. For the offensive side, it starts with not turning the ball over. And what I'm really curious to see is, do they start taking the training wheels off of Dorian Thompson-Robinson? We discussed it a little bit, last week, and it was like, early on in that Pittsburgh game, you could see them protecting him. Then that third quarter happens, and you're like, hey, man, we have to go win this football game. Like, we can't just continue to just keep this conservative. And then at the last drive, he comes forward and shows that he can play quarterback in the NFL and lead drives and throw the ball down the field. So you'd like to see if the Browns do take those training wheels off a little bit and let Dorian Thompson-Robinson actually play some football this afternoon.
I think they need to. I mean, somewhere along the way, you got to see what he's got. I am not surprised that Joe Flacco was not elevated off the practice squad this week. He just got here, and I'm sure he can get up to speed fairly quickly, but I don't think there's any great rush to have him active this week. PJ Walker's got some reps with this team, and even though he wasn't playing great football, they were still winning with him. I get the impression this is more of a let's see how DTR plays today and then maybe make a decision, on Flacco's future practice squad versus active roster after this week. That said, the guy I want to see the most from today is David Njoku.
Yeah.
Bad weekend last weekend, and he was the first one to say it. And he takes a lot of pride in his craft, and he worked hard this week. So time to see better results. And I think the Browns need him.
And a really good time to do it, too. This Denver defense isn't great through the air. Yes, they force turnovers, but they give up, in one of the league worst, they're in the bottom quadrant in the league. They give up 240 yards through the air. So not only is it a great day for David Njoku to kind of get his feet back on track and get going again, but it's a great day for also Amari Cooper to get rolling again and Elijah Moore to continue playing good football. And really just a great chance for Dorian Thompson-Robinson to get that feel and that comfort. It's going to be a really good day. I think that if the Browns want to, they're going to be able to throw the football. Now, do they trust Dorian to protect it? That's another story. But I think they're going to have chances to throw the football this afternoon against the Denver defense.
Lots of coverage coming for you this afternoon on BrownsDigest.com. And we'll be back post-game to talk about this team and hopefully a win. We'll do everything we can to check in on Kevin Stefanski's press conference. And unfortunately, this week we won't have that available for you since we're not on site. But we will try to dissect everything that comes out of Denver and the Browns locker room postgame and give you our thoughts as well as Cleveland tries to rack up what could be an 8th win in 11 games here to start the season. Pretty special start for Cleveland. Yeah,
it would be unbelievable to get to 8-3. I wrote this morning. To get to 8-3 with a normal roster is fantastic. Like, that's awesome. To get to 8-3 with the story of this season would be totally remarkable for this team, and a great chance to do it today. And you need to. Whatever's going to happen in the Cincinnati Steelers game that's happening right now, you don't want to fall back to those guys. Like, let's just bury those two teams and just continue to chase the Ravens who play tonight. And you never know what happens if they slip up out in LA and all of a sudden you're first in the AFC North when our heads hit the pillow tonight. We'll see.
It's entirely possible. Browns and Broncos coming up 4:00 Eastern time, 2:00 local time in Denver. For all the latest news and info on the team, BrownsDigest.com's got you covered.